Hello.
Hi. We're here. This is Can I Just Say One Thing podcast. Demi's quiet over there.
Well, okay, sorry. I'm because I just recently discovered Shawn Mendes and Camila
Cabello, I think.
Camila Cabello.
Yeah.
Well, he says it Camila Cabello.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Silent double L.
Yeah. I
Double L?
actually forgot what her full name was, so that's why
Camila
I didn't
Cabello.
know. Yeah.
Anyway, I am shipping this hard. I know everybody else has already, but
We're just hopping on board.
oh yeah, I'm riding this train. Okay.
But like really like
But the Señorita music video.
it's so good.
So spicy.
It's so spicy. And they
spicy,
do
sweaty.
like and also steamy.
Steamy, there's like a face touch that I really appreciated.
Oh, totally. Or just like the I'm gonna touch you and twirl you towards me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna stare at me while you're strumming a guitar at a club? Like, don't.
At a club. I'm gonna stare hard back at you.
And then I'm gonna run away.
Yeah, because
I'm playing hard to
scared.
get, but like I'm gonna be on the back of that motorcycle.
Absolutely.
You won't. You're
No,
scared.
I don't want to do it. But I mean,
He goes fast.
He goes so fast. But I would be in that hotel room.
I didn't get. Yeah, I didn't get the ending. Why'd he leave her hanging?
Maybe he just wanted to hit it and quit it. I hate that. I love it.
Hey Siri. How do you say one night stand in Spanish?
In Spanish, one night stand is rollo de una noche.
What?
Can you? Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Can you repeat that?
Rollo de una noche.
Thank you.
Rollo de noche. Noche? That makes sense. Yeah. Duh.
Una noche. Give me just one night. Una noche. I should have just reverted back to my 98 degrees. That's what it is.
I love 98 degrees so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Okay,
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, we're actually drinking alcohol.
We are. Woo.
Back
Cheers.
on that train. You got the Pride and Joy cup. Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Prison my cup. Yes.
We are drinking Blind Pig, which is my favorite IPA beer
It's delicious.
from Russian River Brewing.
So I was going to tell you this, and I was like, oh, wait, maybe we should start recording. I've been watching Outlander. I finished it. I'm caught up now.
Okay.
So
It's on Amazon.
No. It's
Okay,
on two.
that's right.
That's what you thought?
Continue. I heard that people thought that, so I just wanted to clear up that
That it's
rumor.
not on Amazon. I think you can get a subscription through Starz, like through
it's
Amazon.
a Starz show.
Yes. So
Starz thinks they can do what HBO does.
And they do.
Got it.
They do.
Oh, shots fired.
So first two seasons though are on Netflix, and then the last two seasons you have to have Starz, or I just use my AT&T Uverse subscription. Not sponsored.
Wish we were.
Yeah. And so there's some like steamy little scenes in there, like some of the best scenes I've probably ever seen.
Shut
I'm not kidding.
This is my thing though with shows with steamy scenes. I always feel embarrassed.
No, I don't feel embarrassed.
Because I see all of a sudden when they're trying to be like, okay, my only example is Kit Harington and Egret and Daenerys.
No, I believe it. I believe.
Oh, you're down.
I believe it.
Okay,
yeah,
cool. It's like a Shawn Mendes, Camila Cabello.
Yes,
Cabello.
that's exactly what it is.
Cool,
No,
cool.
truly. So there is actually like a hashtag or a whole movement about Outlander babies, because women or couples will watch the show together and then they'll get pregnant.
Okay, I'm not watching the show. I'm not now.
Yeah. Well, just because it's like
The risk is too great.
I mean,
Worth it?
Yes. Yeah. Now I have like unrealistic expectations about what my relationship is supposed to be like. It's supposed to be
From traveling back in time.
from traveling back in time, from being like the one true love, which doesn't fucking exist, you know? But
Mine's in the living room right now.
well,
Drinking a blind pig.
that sounds horrible. But no, drinking sounds great. So yeah, Outlander, if you're not watching it,
Get on it.
like on it.
Literally.
I'm definitely, you know how we were kind of just saying, we kind of get obsessed with like what's happening.
Yes.
Like currently obsessed with Shawn Mendes.
Yes.
Also very obsessed with Sam Heughan, who is the main character.
Can I?
Yes.
Sam Heughan.
Yeah. Heughan. So he has Heughan. He's Scottish, obviously.
Oh, say no more.
Shiloh, my poor boyfriend, knows I'm kind of on the Sam Heughan train right now. He
looks like the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
I thought the same freaking thing, but it's not. Obviously, it's not him. That's Dan Stevens.
Damn.
He would have been such a better Beast, to be honest.
Do you think that I should follow Shawn Mendes? Like, would he be weirded out if I did that?
I don't think so. I think that he wouldn't realize because probably 1 million people are following him at once.
No, 47.9 million.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Camila, who happened to pop up first. Girl, following them both. Yes. I have to be in the know.
I also started following Sam Heughan a week ago. And I think that him and his co-star just have a really sweet relationship outside because they do a lot of press junkets together, of course. And they just seem to...
How many seasons?
4 seasons. Mm-hmm. He is 39 years old.
Right in my range. Right in that range.
Yeah.
Is the show good, though?
Yes. It's actually... Unfortunately, there's not as much sex as I want there to be.
I mean, it's not a porn. It's a show.
I mean, it could also maybe... be one, you know what I mean?
Erotic.
Yeah.
Erotic.
Well, the books are
it's
like...
a book?
Yeah. So it's a whole... Like, there's 8 books.
Next?
Fine, okay. There's 8 books, though. But I mean...
Well, all we have is time. Like, literally all we have.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I hear it's really good. But, like, super... Like, way more... Because I asked... So Stephanie, our friend Stephanie, has read almost, like, 5 out of 8 of the books. And she says that it's way better than the show. And I'm like, if it's better than the show...
I'm sorry. It gets better than that? Do you see those on the show?
Yes! Of course you do.
I am starting that show. Wait, no, I need to watch Chernobyl first and then...
Actually, that might be a good thing because you're going to see Chernobyl and it's going to gross you out. Yeah. And then you're going to see Sexy Bod. So, the actor that plays the uncle in Game of Thrones, the one that Sansa says, "Uncle, sit down" at the very last episode.
Yeah.
So he's in the show too.
I love him.
I love him, and he's like the husband in the future,
right?
Or like in the present, like 1940s. But he's also the bad guy in the past.
Ooh,
yeah,
fun. And she doesn't like him in the present, though, right?
No, she does. It's just like they've been apart because of World War II.
I watched this show, like, how old is it?
I think it first aired in 2014 or 15.
I watched it when it first came out with my mom.
Yeah.
She started it, and I was like, well, actually, what happened was, maybe it was later than that, because she started, like, in the middle of a season.
Yeah, no, you can't do that. You have to watch it from the beginning.
You should watch it. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, Mom.
Yeah, you have to start from the beginning just to see how it all happens, how she gets there and all that stuff. But I really, 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 really like the actor from his name is like Tobias something in real life. But
sucks. The name sucks.
But he really is like super cute too, you know? Like he seems like
in
a
Game of Thrones, I loved him.
Oh, he's so brilliant.
So good.
He was so brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the best scene in that episode because we know how we feel about it.
Yes.
But should we get into this book now that we got off the Shawn Mendes Sam Heughan train?
I'm like on a high right now. I just want to keep going and I haven't seen you.
I know. Demi, can you also tell us about the bear?
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, also, okay, well, let me just tell you about my weekend because it was a fun weekend. And you had a fun weekend too.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm talking really fast.
Bear. Body.
Okay. So this past weekend, I went to Lake Tahoe Celebrity Golf, and it was so much fun. It was my first year going when we had a boat. Brett's gone a lot of other times with our friends and done the whole, like, beach boat thing, and I've only gone a couple other times, but walked the course. But anyway, so I met Miles Teller.
Super cute in that picture, by the way.
So cute. It was really fun. I was like, Miles, selfie. And he was like, okay. And he like ran over. We selfied and he ran away. It was really nice.
That. That's really sweet. It
was
wasn't
nice.
like, it's not like,
no.
being like the whole awkward thing.
It's
celebrity golf.
That's what they're there for.
Totally.
Is to just like.
Did you see Justin Timberlake?
Fuck yeah.
And
Absolutely.
How come you didn't take a picture? Or
he was on the other side of the course.
And you did not pursue?
What was I supposed to do? Get arrested? I don't know who Doug Flutie is. It's obviously
Sounds very familiar.
Some sports person. I think it's like who cares? Actually, he's old. His ball hit Sam, my sister-in-law.
Yep. Right in that booty.
In the butt. It was Sam's like second time or something being in Lake Tahoe. First time at celebrity golf.
Yeah.
And this ball came in and just nailed her right on the butt cheek.
The tush.
It's
a welt now. Like it's like a full-on bruise.
I'm gonna ask her to send me a picture. Because I thought like, okay, they're hitting from so far away. Mm-hmm. There's not gonna be that much speed coming in. It turned her butt black.
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen a bruise like that before. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. If it would have hit a bone, it might have broken Breckenridge. Breckenridge, Colorado is what I'm talking about. It would have broken a bone, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Now get to the bear.
Oh yeah. So anyway, we spend all day at celebrity golf. We come home and it's one of those, I open the front door. I don't know why. I've told this story like 3 times at work. And every time I give this detail that I punch in the code because you don't need a front door key.
It literally doesn't matter.
It literally is the least important detail of the story. It doesn't matter.
I opened the door.
I opened the door. Can you please cut that? Like, that is such
hilarious.
a stupid point.
I love it.
And every time I give that detail, I'm like, don't tell that next time. Like,
did that with me the first time you told me the story you told me.
Why do I do that? It's so embarrassing.
No, it's not.
Okay,
it's
anyway, I opened the door.
You know what though? If you didn't bring it up, it wouldn't have mattered. Like nobody would be like, I punched it in. Like that also would have been just like a little detail, you know?
I opened the door. It's a keypad.
Yeah.
And
a keypad door. There was a punch number. Okay.
Punched in the code. Open the door. It's the front door. We're home.
Walk up to the
0371 is the code. Unlock. We're in.
Got it.
We're in the front door.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I opened the door. I was not kidding. I was ready to move on. You're not ready.
I know, because you said you opened the door again. We're already here.
So the door's open. And I'm standing at the threshold of the door.
That's okay.
I'm not inside yet. I'm at the front door. I look
That's
in.
what she said. Oh man,
she did.
Again.
She did. I know. It was fun, huh? Yeah. So anyway, I'm at the threshold.
We're never getting through this episode.
No. It's going to be like 30 minutes. Super short chapter. Oh, yeah, it's us.
Yeah.
Hi. Welcome back. Oh,
I
can I just say one thing podcast?
Already. You don't even listen to me. I said that right at the beginning.
No, and I did.
We're
at the threshold.
Okay. I'm Jess, by the way, because I didn't say that.
Oh, I'm Demi.
Anyway.
Okay, and I look in, and there's this, what?
I'm sorry, the whole situation.
And I see, like, food or something at the foot of the stairs, like, to go up to the bedrooms. I'm like, that's weird. I don't know what we would have dropped leaving this morning. And then I look even further into the house, and there's trash everywhere on the floor. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think an animal got in. And in my head, I was like...
Possum or like whatever,
well,
right?
no, in my head, I was like, a bear got in.
Oh, you did think that?
I thought it, but I was like...
Nah.
I was like, no, You're
in a house.
You're in a house, and you're exaggerating so much. Like, you go 0 to 100 all the time. Like,
how is a bear going to get in without a code?
He doesn't even know the code. So I immediately think bear, but then I try and diffuse it. I'm like, it's absolutely raccoons.
Raccoon for
a
sure.
A bear is not getting in the house.
Right.
How would a bear get in?
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, there's bears all the time in Tahoe. And so I walk into the kitchen. The fridge is destroyed.
Yeah.
The door is wide open. The glass is broken for the vegetable drawer things. The trash is knocked over. Food is everywhere. I thought it was poop at the top of the stairs. It was like this big pile of something. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And I was like, I think a fucking bear got in here, like for sure. And so I go outside, and I'm with Brett and my brother and Sam. And so I go outside. I'm like, I think an animal got in here. I didn't want to say bear, but I was like, I think an animal got in here. I don't know what. And so they all come in, and we're looking around. And then I was like, don't go upstairs because something could be up there. We don't know what it is. So we go outside, and I'm like, let's just call 911 because that's the safest thing. So then the neighbor comes out, the next door neighbor, and he's like, hey, did you guys have a break-in? And we were like, yes. How'd you know? And he's like, well, I saw a bear walking through the backyard at like noon this afternoon, and I didn't see him break into the house, but you know, that's what it was if there is stuff that's damaged. And so the cops come, and it was so weird. We're on the phone with the cops, and they're like, okay, don't go upstairs. The cops will be there soon. It could be sleeping upstairs. And Brett, of course, is like, I'm going to go upstairs. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
So
They said, don't do it.
these cops said, don't be a hero. So the cops come, and they're like, well, have you heard anything? And we're like, no. And they're like, well, do you want us to go upstairs?
Duh.
We were specifically told not to. You are the one with the gun. Why would I go? So anyway, they go, nothing's there. We go in the backyard. What happened was the bear, we left a window unlocked.
Right.
The bear tore through the screen, literally slid the window open. It was crazy. He did not break it. He didn't break. And so from the backyard where he crawled in from, there was a dining room table, and we had beer and an open bottle of wine on the table. He didn't knock over anything. It's insane because they're so huge, and you think they're clumsy and like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like that's not a bear.
Yeah.
They're agile. They're like cats.
Ooh.
I know. And so the cops leave, and we're standing in the backyard talking to the neighbor, and he shows us a video of the bear that he took. Literally, as we're standing there watching the video, and the neighbor turns, he goes, oh, there he is. That's how he said it. Oh, right there.
Like, chill as fuck.
A literal bear comes.
Massive bear, by the way. We'll post the video.
I'll post of the damage and the bear.
Right.
This bear just passes through the yard, and the guy was like, all you need to do is yell. Like, they're not. The thing is they're like sharks. They're not man-eaters. They don't. I hate that that label that wild animals get, that they're like out for blood. They're not.
Yeah.
They're wild animals. We
that
infiltrated
want to eat as well.
Yeah, and like we infiltrated their homes. This is their land.
Right.
And so if they break into our house looking for food, like that's our own fault. And so the guy's like yelling and clapping his hands like, hey, get out of here. And I thought the bear would be like, oh shit, I gotta go, and like run. And he doesn't even look up. He's like, I know, I'm going. Like I'm just going home.
Yeah.
I had a long day. I'm just out of here. He goes, this is how he hops over the neighbor's fence. He hoists himself up onto the fence and like walks along the fence line like a cat, and then turns around and lowers himself down the other way.
Like,
he doesn't
like,
just
it looks like Michael Scott going in it.
Yes,
and
the
down
elevator,
the
fake elevator.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. It was
gosh.
Crazy.
What?
I know.
Oh, I wish you had a video of that. That'd be so cool.
I know. I should have got that.
That's
But
totally
anyway.
fine. But that sounds fun.
So
Yay.
a bear and Miles Teller.
That sounds like
The highlights.
it sounds like a band.
Oh, okay. Band name. Called it.
Trademark. Shall we get into the book?
Sure. Where are we? What is the chapter called?
So we read the section called rooting. Rooting. I was like super emotional reading it. Not like I haven't been emotional the whole entire reading this thing, but
I was the only emotion I felt was rage.
Totally.
just because this chapter is very relevant to what's going on in today's society.
That's
and
what
so
I said in my notes. Of course. On the same page.
like the very first one I read it and I was like, okay, that's the most relevant thing ever. She starts off, the first poem is, they have no idea what it is like to lose home at the risk of never finding home again, to have your entire life split between two lands and become the bridge between two countries. Immigrant. And I feel like the word immigrant gets thrown around so much through politics and, all these people. And this is such a great way to start off the chapter, because what an immigrant is just a human being going through an experience that you and I and these people in power who get to decide what happened to people who come to our country as immigrants seeking asylum. They don't understand and will never understand the pain and suffering that these human beings are going through in order to survive and just even have the chance of a better opportunity.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, so many of these poems in this section talk about, like, giving up everything. They talk about, like, what's better to drown in a boat, than to basically drown in the land that you're in because you don't have any opportunity,
Yep.
It's so crazy.
And then another thing, too, so even the next page. So, sorry, I should have said that first poem was on page 119, so on 120, it says, look at what they've done, the earth cried to the moon. They've turned me into one entire bruise, green and blue. We want change, and we want acknowledgement that change is necessary and needed and a work in progress. And instead we're getting told that climate change isn't real.
Yeah.
And
so do you think this one was about global warming then?
That's what I thought.
Because that's what I thought too. I said global warming.
That's how I interpreted it, as was very literal of look at what they've done to me.
Right.
And we are in crisis mode right now. And we're just doing irreparable damage every single day. And
I think about plastic so much, by the way. Within the last few months, I can't stop thinking about plastic.
All day, every day. I threw away 2 plastic utensils today and I felt like shit about it.
Yeah.
They broke. Like, I didn't know what to do with it.
Exactly. And
it's amazing.
It's just crazy too, because not everything obviously can be recycled. And then it's just, they're getting into the fish, so like pretty soon fish won't even be edible.
Yeah.
And there already is microplastic showing up in fish.
So there's this, I went to Sunfish. It's this local fish market that sells to not all, but like majority of sushi restaurants in Sacramento.
And they also sell to anybody too.
Right, nice, you could just go in. So we go in, and whenever we want to make like our own sushi bowls or whatever, like we just go in and buy it. But we read, or someone told us, I can't really remember how we found out, but I think someone that worked there said that they are now making fish from, they're making it in a lab. They're literally creating fish in labs and then selling it as meat. But they don't have to tell us as consumers that it was created in a lab.
They should have to tell us everything if anything that's going on our bodies, into our bodies, if we're consuming it for nutrients. I have the right to know what the fuck I'm putting in my body.
100%.
Because I'm paying for it.
100%. And so this is why...
It's one thing if you don't care, that's fine.
This is my question, though. Why wouldn't it be allowed if you are... not allowed. Why is it their prerogative to tell me as a consumer whether or not this is created in a lab if you are okay with selling it to humans to consume?
Right.
If you're comfortable selling it to people, you should also be comfortable telling them,
hey, by the way.
I mean, there are so many things that happen that we don't know about. Like,
all the time.
Like in Japan, I don't know if it still is happening, but in that documentary, The Cove that I was telling you about the dolphins, how they kidnap them and slaughter them to sell them to SeaWorld and all those other shitholes. They take the dolphins that they don't want to sell that don't look like quote unquote flipper. That's what they're looking for, is those ideal dolphins, those really silver ones with the smile. And those are the ones they sell, but the ones that they don't sell, they either just slaughter them in a cove and leave them and they just die, or they capture them and butcher them and sell them as fish to the locals as like, this is tuna, this is is, yellowfin, this is salmon, this is hamachi. Like, that's what they sell it as,
so
but
fucked.
it's actual dolphin meat. But dolphin meat is extremely high in mercury. Mercury is poisonous to humans, and they sell it to the elementary schools. So children are consuming mercury and getting mercury poisoning and dying because they can do that. So
'Cause there's no
my question
regulation.
is, what are we eating that we don't know about?
Also, just like not having any, I don't know, understanding or sympathy for human life. Like there's no, it's not even
Not even human life, but like
life.
life, period.
Yeah, dolphins. I mean, obviously not just like truly everything. I feel so pessimistic
Helpless,
and
yeah.
helpless the last few weeks. I mean, obviously we talk very in depth about a lot of things, so like we know how each other feels about stuff, but it's just like, I want to be optimistic and I want to be hopeful. I just don't currently have that right now.
It
you know what
truly,
I mean?
it comes in waves for me.
Like when I see Shawn Mendes, I'm like, okay,
There's hope.
there's hope. So I put note on like leaving the country, which is on page 123. Leaving her country was not easy for my mother. I still catch her searching for it in foreign films and the international food aisle. It's just like so sad. I was like, imagine leaving every single fucking thing you know. I truly can't get that.
No.
You know, because when I leave, I go on vacation.
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yes, my
because
choice.
It's a
I'm not in a.
it's a positive.
I'm not in a
it's
hostile environment.
You're not fleeing. You're choosing to go somewhere
Right.
on your own accord.
And
with the knowledge that you get to come back to your life.
Right. And that I have like a good job and I have, you know, all this stuff where it's like I'm not fighting.
You're
all
not
the time.
scared.
Yeah, I'm not scared. Yeah. It just can't even. It's like you try to put yourself there, but obviously,
Right.
unless you're going through that, you'll never understand
Right.
for sure.
Yeah. On the page before that, on page 122, I appreciated this so much. It's just wisdom from her mother. And so I just want to read it really quick. When it came to listening, my mother taught me silence. If you are drowning their voice with yours, how will you hear them? She asked. When it came to speaking, she said, do it with commitment. Every word you say is your own responsibility. When it came to being, she said, be tender and tough at once. You need to be vulnerable to live fully, but rough enough to survive it all. When it came to choosing, she asked me to be thankful for the choices I had that she never had the privilege of making. Lessons from Mama. And so all of this wisdom seems lost in our society. That's what I just immediately gained from that, is that in the very first part, it says, if you are drowning their voice with yours, how will you hear them? Everybody has conversations so that they can get their point across. Nobody's having a conversation to listen.
Right.
Everybody wants so badly to be heard and be seen
Right.
that they forget to look and hear other people.
And that's the same like with the political climate in the United States.
Yes.
Obviously with the whole entire world because we see rifts everywhere.
Sure.
But we don't live, you know, anywhere else obviously besides the U.S. So it's stuff that's so true between Republicans, Democrats, liberals,
Right.
conservatives, you know, anybody that's, you know, you either have to believe in it completely or you
Or
can't
not.
believe. Yeah, and it's like that's not how it works. One, but also, you know, we've talked about this quite a lot on here about just listening and like trying to understand the other side, which of course it's hard for me to do sometimes because I'm just like I have so much conviction in
Right.
what I think is right and like human equality and stuff like that, you know, but it's just so important to put yourself
I
in
love the part too when she says, when it came to speaking, do it with commitment. Every word you say is your own responsibility. And I know that I just said that I wouldn't talk about it, but all I can think about is what President Trump just said
Right.
about the 4 women in Congress, go back to your country, and then has the audacity to say that wasn't racist.
A whole bunch of Americans agree with me.
No, I'm sorry. Oh, a whole bunch of Americans agree with me, and he also said I didn't name names. We know what you meant, though.
Right.
Look at your words. Where's your next note?
128.
Okay, mine's on 126. It was just one part because this is a long one. This is about catching a boat when you're fleeing your country and you're terrified and you know that people are dying when they board the boats, but the risk of staying in your country is greater than jumping on the boat.
That's what I was referring to earlier, too, this exact one.
And then the one line that I underlined was if this boat is not strong enough to carry this much sorrow to a shore, what does it matter, she says, if drowning is easier than staying? And so I just said that we're so lucky to never experience this, parentheses, yet. Yet. But this is something that we need to hear and that we need to see to remain humble, thankful, knowledgeable, and aware that this is happening. This is a real thing that happens every day. Right now, in 2019, it's happening. So it needs to be at the forefront, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Having compassion for other people, too. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So the one that I have is 128. And it says, borders are man-made. They only divide us physically. Don't let them make us turn on each other. And that we are not enemies. And I was just like, this.
That's it.
This. I'm
scene.
like, it's so, like, we kind of talked about this already. Like, the fact that she's so young and so eloquent with her words, it's just like things that I want to say, but I feel like I say them in such a roundabout way where she's literally saying it in 5 lines, you know? So it's just, it's nice to have something to, like, help me say what I feel, I guess.
And see what you feel.
Right.
That's it. Well, that's what makes me so mad about how our political climate right now is why are we enemies?
Truly.
Why is it liberals against Republicans? Why? We should be a team. We should be coming together.
Not my way is so much better than yours. It should be a collab,
it should be
for sure.
our way. Our way. Stop. I hate these politicians, our country. And I'm not talking about just Republicans.
Right.
Liberals do this shit too. I'm not a fan of anybody right now.
Right.
I'm really not. I think they're
Everybody's
all
so
fake. They're so boring.
gung-ho.
They're so trying to say why their political party is the best party.
Right.
And I don't give a shit.
Because I'm the most intense about this specific issue.
I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I don't care. What I care about is that there's people in cages. And at this point, who gives a fuck who put them there? Get them out.
Right.
We are a civilized society. Why are we doing this?
I know.
How big are my eyes right now?
So big. So intense, but I get it.
Why are we enemies?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
So sad. I don't know why I actually just put a little marker. I didn't make it a note, but perhaps we are all immigrants trading one. Oh yeah. Perhaps we are all immigrants trading one home for another. First we leave the womb for air, then the suburbs for the filthy city in search of a better life. Some of us just happen to leave entire countries, which I think is a good way to kind of understand, you know, because obviously, like we just said, we'll never understand the full thing.
Yeah.
And I'm dead set on not living in the suburbs. I'm like, I want to live like, you know, kind of city-ish and all that stuff, but obviously not like too crazy either. But it's this idea, this notion, and this, you're trying to better your life, whether it's, you know, your home for another one, your suburb for a city, or your home country for a better opportunity. And it's a good way for us to check in and be like, hey, on some level, we might all be going through this, and let's have a little bit more empathy for people that 100%. On a larger scale are going through it.
Well, just about this whole, like, get out of, like, leave our country.
Ugh. I hate it so much.
But so my grandma was an immigrant from Greece. My grandma and my grandpa were immigrants from Greece. And if they were still alive, what would they feel hearing that? Yeah. They came here. They did everything the right way. They worked really hard.
Right, of course.
But they're not... I know this is so dumb, but we're all immigrants.
Right,
That's
right.
like bottom line. It doesn't matter what generation. We're all immigrants.
Yeah, we all started from
Who
somewhere.
are you to
Yeah.
say get out of the country? You get out of the country.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't have anything until the advice I would have given my mother on her wedding day.
That was a rough one. Wow. I didn't even make a note because I was just like,
All of it.
yes, 100%.
Yeah. It's just basically, I mean, it's just, Rupi Kaur saying what she wishes that somebody would have basically told her mother, if, and I the first one is so true. You're allowed to say no. And it's just, and that's for any situation.
That's women.
Yeah,
Women,
you are.
allowed to say no.
Yep. But I marked number 7.
Because?
Well, we'll see. Let me read it and I'll try to remember why. Your husband and children would take from your plate. We will emotionally and mentally starve you. All of it is wrong. Don't let us convince you that sacrificing yourself is how you must show love. And I think that just hit me really hard because I'm just like, maybe, herself in her 20s is just like, oh shit, like I could have been better to my mom.
I think everyone has that realization throughout their lives.
Yeah. I felt like she's in this little, section, she's really kind of understanding and appreciating who her mom is.
Yes.
She's finally realizing all the stuff that her mom has done for her. And it actually made me think of you and your mom for sure, where it's just like the understanding, like you get it and you want her to know that you understand her.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, that's a good thing
I mean,
to do.
it's such a good thing to say to mothers too, because I think it's this unspoken thing that happens where you feel like you have to do that for your child. And you want to. It's not that you even are like, I would rather do this, but I have to for my kid.
Right.
You want to do it.
All self-sacrificing.
Exactly.
For sure.
And you don't have to. And so you need to remember who you are.
I feel like it's, at least with moms I've talked to, they've even like said to me that they lose some of their identity, and it's just like, I can't, because you're so willing to give everything up for your child, which is beautiful because you love them more than life itself, which is why you're willing to do it. But at the same time, I'm obviously not a mom, so I can't, speak for sure, but like you also have to make time for yourself.
Well, I think it's also a really great example to show your kids.
Yeah.
That
like, I'm also important.
I am important.
Self-care.
Yes.
Self-love.
Self-care, self-love. These are my passions. These are important to me. And that shows somebody growing up how to prioritize things that are important to them and that you don't have to sacrifice yourself for anybody else.
Yep.
Those are great examples.
Me time is also quality time,
yes.
So.
Ooh, I love me time so much.
Me too. Me too.
I actually have a note on 136 and 137.
Okay.
So on 136, let's find out why I wrote this, because all I did was put a marker.
I did
didn't
too,
write
yeah.
anything.
That's what I've done a couple times.
In a dream, I saw my mother with the love of her life and no children. It was the happiest I'd ever seen her. What if? I think I just think that about my mom. Or not even my mom, like just adults in general, like so many what ifs. What if you had done one thing different in your life that you don't even think are monumental things?
Right. I thought about this like yesterday in my life too. I'm just like,
Even for me, what if I hadn't gotten the job at Chicago Fire?
Right.
I would have never met Brett.
Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Isn't that amazing?
That's how I think about it too. I'm always thinking like what if Shiloh and I didn't get back together?
Right.
Would I be single still? Would I have started dating?
What would have happened?
Who would I, like...
Yes. I mean, you wouldn't have been like, what?
but maybe. Maybe it would have been all about self-love. Like, Sam Hewen.
Holding out. I'm going to
Crossing
Scotland tomorrow.
Moving to LA immediately. But yeah, it's just weird. It's weird to...
Those what ifs are mind-blowing.
It is.
You can't get too deep.
You can't because you don't have control. It's not what it is. It's not the reality, So it's like, why hold on to that? You can't be delusional about it, You have to be in the now for sure.
Yep. And my next note on 137, you split the world into pieces and call them countries. Declare ownership on what never belonged to you and left the rest with nothing. Colonize. And I was just like, Pocahontas.
I literally thought the same thing.
Pocahontas. I mean, Ugh.
Yeah.
You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead
it.
thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
That was my favorite movie growing up, for sure. I think we've talked about this, right? That was my favorite. That's the very first movie I ever saw in movie theater.
It was this. We listened to that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Every single day driving to school.
Yeah.
That song, "Mine for the Taking," was my dad's song.
He
still sings it.
The hello and the goodbye.
Wingapo.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I mean, that movie's actually kind of horrible, but
No, that movie is great.
is it though?
Yes.
Because that's not how the real story goes.
I think it's a good introduction for kids
Yeah.
of what that looks like.
Right, taking of land,
What
like
colonizing looks
this,
like. What infiltrating a country and claiming it as your own looks like.
Yeah,
I think it was a good representation
for
8-year-olds.
6-year-old to understand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In theaters, saw it and fell asleep, and I thought I was gonna get in so much trouble.
Why?
Because my mom said if she took me that I couldn't fall asleep because she came and got me out of like babysitting or whatever. She said, we're gonna go see a movie. You can't fall asleep though. And I was like, okay. And then I fell asleep and I thought I was gonna get in so much trouble. And I know I can drink.
The blue corn moon.
Or weather.
White or copper skin.
And if you hear the voices of the mountain, you paint with all the colors of the wind.
You
can
can
paint.
only...
We can do it again. Done.
That's all I had.
I have the last one is 142. It says, "What if there isn't enough time to give her what she deserves? Do you think if I begged this guy hard enough, my mother's soul would return to me as my daughter so I can give her the comfort she gave me my whole life?" I
Beautiful.
know. That's so true. I think of that like with moms in
Beautiful.
general, with mothers in general, how it's sometimes relationships don't work out with your mom the way that you want them to, and when you do have a kid, if you want that, I mean, it's kind of like a second chance too, so maybe that you can harness a relationship that might be a little bit,
Yeah.
more loving or nurturing
Right.
or,
It's your opportunity.
yeah, for sure. That's all I had too.
All right.
Yeah.
I
So-
liked that chapter.
Yeah, it was good. It was intense.
It was.
Yeah.
It had me very like
Mad.
mad. Yeah.
And also like
Concerned.
concerned for sure. Also grateful that I feel like I have some tools to kind of reference on how
that's a good one. That
I feel or how I
really like that you
perceive
said that.
things. So next we're reading Rising.
Let's rise to the occasion. Okay. Don't laugh at me.
I don't. I went. Are you?
I know.
So please go watch Outlander.
And watch the Señorita video 20 times like we just did. Shawn Mendes.
Shawn Mendes. Can we just like look at how glowy he is in that real quick?
He's shiny
He's so-
spice.
He's Ooh.
Shiny.
Maybe he can replace Posh Spice
Sure.
as Shiny Spice.
Shiny spice.
I like it.
Fine.
So we'll see you next time. Please
Rate, subscribe,
Yeah.
listen, download, tell your friends,
us.
email us, DM us.
Should we
tweet
read all
us.
of the Outlander?
You guys, also, we
Books.
haven't really came up with next month's book, so if you have any hot recs,
Exactly.
let us know.
Yeah.
We would love
Yeah.
to read whatever you're reading or are obsessed with. New, old, erotic fiction, maybe.
Always. I have read a couple. Remember we did book clubs in the past with our gal pals.
Erotic?
There was one where it was like Evelyn After or something like that.
That wasn't. It did nothing for me.
I think there was.
Snooze.
I don't know if it was that one or
I know.
not.
I think I know what you're talking about. I remember.
And I was like, oh, because it was like she went to like a gallery and he like had sex with. You know what I'm talking about?
That one.
I don't know which one that one was.
That was a good one.
That was Steph. She picked that one out.
Steph.
Yeah, maybe Steph should
Yes,
recommend our next
girl.
one.
Okay, can I tell you one time when I was little, like little, probably like 10, I found this book and it was about like this woman who was like gonna cross the sea and she had to like be with this brooding captain, and then like all of a sudden they were hooking up on the ship and it was his throbbing member. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Like,
what is it? It makes me think of
I read it though.
well, of course, because they're like, oh, I need to know what it is. If I read farther or if I read ahead behind this, maybe I'll find out what a throbbing member is.
Yes.
But it makes me think of 10 Things I Hate About You when you've seen that movie,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Where it's Miss Perky, she's the guidance counselor and she's writing a project and she's like, I'll let you get back to Reginald's quivering member. And then Miss Perky's like, quivering member, I like that. And she like types it in her little book. Yeah. Yeah. I've watched that movie a million times.
I love that movie. I forgot about that.
It's so
That
good.
is a good movie.
R.I.P.
Alright.
Heath Ledger.
Oh,
So sad.
okay.
I ended that really sad.
Wow.
All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much for coming.
Thanks. Okay.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.